Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First legacy in the draw first. Game on.
Ian White, maybe now he will
59.
kick on and make a real impression in this tournament. Alan Norris had a more emphatic victory, 6-1 against Scott Taylor. Didn't really set the world alight in that particular performance.
60.
Averaged 88. But it was a case of getting the job done and getting himself in the frame for the final day's play here.
It was a stress-free performance as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
he just strolled along, did his thing, got the job done. If you're going to get stressed, it might as well be on a Sunday, because that's where the best players are. Form horses are here.
55.
And we're finding out at the moment that a few of them are falling by the wayside. Obviously, Peter Wright just eliminated by Joe Cullen, who'll play Klassen later on today. Looking forward to that one. I think that should be a really good game. And Chisnell versus Webster as well.
Yeah, Terry Jenkins falling by the wayside at the hands of Webster earlier today. But Alan Norris, player who has made it through to 8 European Tour events this year, but he's made the final day in just 2 of them. He has been seeded for the last 5 tournaments as well, yet he's won only 2 matches prior to this weekend against Roby Don Rodriguez in Vienna and then Nathan Aspinall in Sindelfingen. So this is not quite uncharted territory for him, but it's certainly not in keeping with his European Tour season as a whole. But he did arrive here in Germany after beating Michael Smith in the first round of the World Grand Prix. That was his winning debut in Dublin there.
42.
Before losing to Simon Whitlock. So that will have done him the world of good, and maybe Norris again is a man who can kick on. But he's got work to do here in this first leg against the White Throat.
That game against Whitlock will probably go down in infamy for the right reasons as well. Tops for White. For the first leg, it'll be double 10.
55.
Alan, you require
85.
Very good misses for Alan Chuck Norris. Treble 15, 20 and bull now. Double 5.
80.
And it's going to be double 5 for Ian White.
Require 10.
So both guys not really settling too quickly. Ian White double 5 for the first leg of the match. Going to go 3 double 1 instead of 1 double 2. Double 1. Double 1 it is.
Shot on the first leg.
For the ex-Cheshire player. That's the last time I'm going to mention it.
Game on.
Alan Norris, though, we were talking to Richard Ashdown yesterday about a certain situation with a fly on the board.
123.
And he sent out a rather comical tweet later on, Richard did, after a lot of research. There was a game at Lakeside where he has done very well in the past.
123.
Where he hit a double 4, but there was no 4 on the board. So technically he hit double nothing. But wasn't his fault. He did hit double 4. He won the leg. But
81.
yesterday the fly was sitting on double 4. There's got to be a story in there somewhere. Somebody wants a good seat and a good ticket for double 4. And it was Jeff the Fly. I gave him a name yesterday after the great Jeff Goldblum, who was, of course, in the movie The Fly.
The symmetry of darts in all its glory. And talking of glory, Alan Norris rattling a ton 80 to get down to 117. White is some way adrift here.
Now, darts is very popular at the moment
45.
in world sport.
Alan, you require 117.
Everybody wants to get in and watch it, including the insects. But this is a very good visit from Alan Norris. Ooh,
97.
only just underneath. He had to look to the left to see whether it was in or not. Must have been shielded by the flight, but he will come back. Very tidy leg from Chuck.
Yeah, and the rise in popularity of darts is something that's
Alan,
explored and talked about and debated in the forthcoming feature documentary.
Game shot on the second leg.
House of Flying Arrows. I was going to call it a Fly on the Wall documentary just for good measure there.
Well, if it was Fly on the Wall, I think the soundtrack would
Fly on
definitely
the
be
Board.
done by AC/DC.
Yeah.
Great album from the late 80s. And there's a track on that album called Shake Your Foundations. And that's exactly what every player's trying to do at Halle 39 this afternoon.
Very good. Your German's coming on, Paul.
Slowly but surely.
Alan Norris is fairly confident in his German speaking as well.
He's pretty good at Swedish too. He's definitely an international man of mystery, Alan Norris. Has lived in Sweden, speaks Swedish, lives in Scotland, represents England.
121.
A man of many talents and a man of many tongues as well. Man of many tungstens here.
It was really funny yesterday when he did his post-match interview after beating Scott Taylor. Elmer Polka asked him about Chuck Norris and said, "Are you a fan of Chuck Norris? Is that where the nickname come from?" And he just said,
"Do I look like a karate man?"
Yeah, I chuck darts. That was it. That was that was his thing.
60.
Pure and simple. That's what he does. That's what he's pretty much all about.
He's just lucky that he didn't get a nickname which relates to Coronation Street, as in
41.
Norris who works in the cabin.
You're on your own with that one. Sorry.
Oh, it's all my girlfriend's fault. She watches Corrie and a whole host of other horrible things.
Right now we're watching
45.
the darts, and we're watching Ian White and Alan Norris battle it out for a place in the quarterfinals of the German Darts Championship for the right to meet either Kim Huybrechts or Steve West, who are on stage in the next match here in Hildesheim.
35.
This match is just ticking over at the moment. First two legs going with the throw as Norris wipes himself down at the back of the stage.
Double 12. And this is the hard way to go for 135. He doesn't need to go the bullseye route. Treble 20 leaves 75. Treble 17 leaves double 12. Boom.
Game shot on the third.
That's the way to hit that.
Here wide.
No messing around.
Allen to throw first.
Norris languished on 298 there. I think Norris would admit at the moment that he's not in full flow. He's not playing his best darts. He's grinding. He's working very hard for everything he gets from the game. And I mentioned yesterday when he was playing Scott Taylor that at the moment he's trying to play with a couple of agendas. One of them isn't trying to get into the European Championships because he's already there. But then again, every match he wins over the course of this weekend gets his seeding or his place even higher on that order of merit, which is always good. But he's trying to win as many games this weekend so that next season he'll be seeded and won't have to qualify for European Tour events.
Well, Ian White just turning the screw on the Norris throw here. Norris has a perfect record against Ian White. They've met just the twice before. Norris only made the switch over to the PDC fairly recently, although their first meeting was back in 2009 in the Zuiderduin Masters even. I think I'm right in pronunciation there. Although they did meet last year in the European Open in Dusseldorf, in which Alan Norris came through 6-5. Richard Ashdown has just...
Zuiderduin. It's one of those words that Northern Irish people say better than anyone. Zuiderduin. I've got to get Darryl Gurney to say that.
That's just for you.
164.
Okay, 164 for White. 18s. Well, he stayed there, and he's now looking...
132.
That's setting it up, which he's done very nicely indeed.
He's definitely playing better today, Ian White, than he did yesterday. He got a job done yesterday against Painter. But today, and over the course of the last couple of legs, he has lifted his game another gear or two.
Yeah, didn't need to be too aggressive with that previous visit.
It's
paid dividends for him.
Wide. Fifth leg is seen to throw first. Game on.
Well, this tournament is sponsored by HappyBet, who have sponsored a lot of European Tour events this year. I'm sure they will do going into 2017. But there's only one happy man on stage right now, and that's Ian White. It's better, Chuck. I think even he would admit at the moment that he's not hitting as many 180s as he should. In practice and over the course of earlier this year and later last year, he was hitting so many 180s. And we always talk about his quarter-final match with Klassen at the World Championships last year, which was one of the best games I've seen in the last few years.
100.
I know that Alan will be very much looking forward to going back to Ali Pali this year to see if he can go one step or two steps further.
Well, Ian White is finding the treble 20 bed with increasing regularity now.
174.
Yeah, that's it. Again, puts him in a good position in this fifth leg.
57.
You mentioned Chuck's got a great record against Ian White. Well, the way things are going, Ian White is going to get his name on that board. He's hit a 135 already. I'm not so sure about that one. Sometimes, excuse me, I am the advocate for staying on the 60, but there I'm not so sure about it.
76.
Well, I wondered if he was going to go to the 18s on that occasion as well, but in the end it was in between the two.
94. And you require 58.
Double 10 now for Ian White.
38.
And he gifts a chance to Alan Norris to try and get himself back in this match. This could be a break of throw. He's only going to get one dart at a double.
And it's a tops.
I thought he'd move.
50.
The way his darts go there, he's
20.
covering a lot of that bed. I thought going right or left would have been better for Alan Norris. Chose to stay where he was, and he's livid with that shot at tops.
Game shot on the fifth
Double 10
leg.
that Alan Norris left.
Six leg is
It's exactly what Ian White
first.
required,
Game on.
but he hits it and doesn't give Alan Norris another chance.
Just going back to
100.
that situation where White was on 134, he took out the treble 20 to leave himself 74. So I was assuming he was looking at treble 18 for double 10, but he was closer to the treble 20 bed anyway than the treble 18 bed. It's almost like he was caught in two minds there.
40.
Well, if he was going for the treble 20, I'm not so sure why, because the first start was
Well, that
in
would
the
have left
bottom
him
half
double
of the
7 as
60.
well.
And it was...
180.
It's much more difficult for Ian White to get a dart underneath his first dart when it's already on the bottom wire. Having said that, there's the proof. It's very difficult for him to get it underneath.
100.
And I thought just going for the treble 14 or the treble 18 would have been the way to go. But maybe you're right, Rob. Maybe he was in two minds.
Is double 7 part of his
91.
repertoire as well? I'm not so sure it is.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think double 7 is one of those things that you just go for if you need to. You don't purposefully leave it. Sometimes when you've got 122 finish, you'll go for 18s.
140.
Single 18, treble 18 bull,
130.
treble 18, treble 18 double 7. Sometimes it comes up, but it's not one of those doubles that you purposefully leave.
65. And you require
If you're Mensah Suljovic,
121.
you might use it, but if you're brilliant on double 14, you'd probably never use it.
Now, we go treble 20, treble 13 here. Well, even for the treble 20 certainly. Treble 17 would leave the bullseye for a 5-1 lead.
96. Alan, you require 65.
Now he's scratching his ear. Maybe that fly got in there.
Tops for Norris.
Game shot on the sixth leg.
4-2.
Alan Norris. 7 leg is in to throw first. Game on.
No damage done for Ian White. That was on the Norris throw. What a great dart that was, that second dart.
139.
He's definitely lifted himself today. I mean, even when you look back at the game against Painter yesterday, at the end of it, Ian was exasperated.
He was bent double,
140.
almost gasping for air, wasn't he?
Yeah.
At the end of that one, it was a very warm day on stage. Not a warm day outside, but a warm day on the stage. They seem to have cranked up the air conditioning a little bit today as well, so the players certainly look more comfortable. Not too much
60.
perspiration going on today.
Well, you see at the end of every session, the doors at the side of the building open, and all of the air just rushes out,
Yeah.
as do the people.
60.
This is quite a hot atmosphere. It always has been through the years. It's a real hot box on that stage. I think the hottest we've had this season was in Mulheim. I think it was measured at 46 degrees on stage on the Sunday. And that'll test anybody.
43.
Glad I missed that one then, if it was that one.
Our commentary position was
Right
actually
over the stage, yeah.
right at the top. So the heat was rising.
180.
Well, Norris's average is rising, and it has to. It was hovering round about the 88-89 mark, as it was the case yesterday. 88.7 in that win over Taylor. That's 6-1 defeat of Scott Taylor.
41. Alan, you require 121.
So 1-2-1 for Norris this time. Treble 17 again for the bull, just as Ian White went for last time around.
97.
That'll do.
He's got room for manoeuvre here, yep.
Might not have used the bull there, but then again, sometimes there is a thought process where your opponent is a bit further behind. Go for the bull and try and just get your juices flowing, get your confidence going.
140. Alan, you require
He's going to have to hit this
24.
double 12 now. If he doesn't, Ian White can definitely hit that 78. Double 6 is getting a bit edgy.
Game shot
Edgy
on the
not.
7th leg.
And a big
Alan
scream that I
Norris.
heard through my
Eighth leg is
headphones.
Alan to throw first. Game
When Chuck
on.
Norris bellows, you hear it. Back in the match. Now we're back on throw.
I did say off air prior to the start of this match that I thought this had the ingredients to go all the way to 11 legs, and
41.
Norris has broken back to get my prediction back on track.
Yeah, we said that about Mark Webster and Terry Jenkins, didn't we? The bookies couldn't split them. Form-wise, we couldn't really split them. And it took missed darts from both guys to give us that 6-5 result. In the end, Mark Webster came out on top, and he'll play against Dave Chisnell later.
$140.
Well, Alan Norris has definitely got some confidence from the last couple of legs.
Yeah, he's got the bit between his teeth now. Ian White looked to be comfortable at 4-1. He was playing really well. He had that very stylish check out of 135 with the
40.
treble 20, treble 17, double 12 finish. But this is pretty much a very typical Alan Norris performance. He is very capable of just digging in when he has to, when the match looks to be slipping away. He's a very resilient player. He's a tough nut to crack, and Ian White is finding that now.
100.
Yeah, Ian White's not one of those players that celebrates or dances around. I remember a game he played against Kim Hybrex at the World Championships a couple of years back, and even he was
45.
screaming. That's how much tension was in that game, because he was miles in front. Kim came back, and in the last set, Ian White nicked it at the death, and what a game it was. Sometimes I'm a big advocate for the
41.
getting rid of a bit of tension, just having a bit of a scream or a celebration or a fist pump. It just gets the adrenaline out of your body and just allows you to calm down over the course of a few seconds.
Plenty of adrenaline now for Alan Norris as well. Inching towards that 200 barrier for the 180s. 170 for the tournament, 29 today already.
Not bad at all.
And we've got Steve West to come as well. He's rattled in 11 already this weekend in his first 2 matches.
Still got Van Gerwen to come as well.
Game shot on the 8th leg. Alan Norris.
Check out of 35.
3
legs on the spin now for Alan Norris. He has the momentum behind him.
You can tell when Alan Norris is starting to play better and getting a bit more confident, because he walks faster and he starts pumping out that left fist. So he was a big lad. He can move on that hockey though.
140. $140.
Yeah, I've got a lot of confidence in getting to that 200 mark. Yeah, earlier this year in Munich, I think it was, where we had 207, 180s.
207 180s that day, yep, or that weekend I should say.
That's in jeopardy.
$96.
That's just because the players are getting better. It's as simple as that. We've actually got less people in a European Tour event now than we used to. There used to be 64 players.
Yeah.
You'd have 2 boards.
But in this
134.
current format, which has been in operation for, what, 4 years now?
Yep.
Yeah, we have 48 entrants and fewer matches, so that's testament to the goods that the players are coming up with on an increasingly regular basis.
And because there are less spaces, it's actually harder to get into the tournament in the start.
Yeah, little wonder the European Tour is getting bigger, and the fans are absolutely loving it. Everywhere you go.
It does make you wonder whether the future of the game
132.
could well be this format for everything. Maybe the Pro Tour format might have to go by the wayside in the future, because
60.
it's all about fans, tickets.
And
People
you
want to see
require
every game of darts
84.
now. You can see everything streamed on TV. 14 for bullseye. Big dart this for the context of the match. Ooh, he moved the
59.
wire.
Alan, you require 72.
Now, in a flash, Alan Norris could nick this lead.
No, he won't go double 18 here. But maybe he wishes he had.
Yeah,
because
maybe. Now he's got to go 14 bull, just like Ian White had to do in their last visit. 14. Double 11. He gambled. Or should I say, he backed himself. Now he's got a much bigger target to aim at. And this is a huge dart.
For a break of throw for Alan Norris.
Shot on the
And you can
leg.
see what it means. You
Alan
can almost
Norris.
hear what it means as well.
10-legged Alan to throw first. Game
Norris's
on.
screams picked up by the stage side microphones, and that is a massive, massive moment. He's won 4 legs on the spin now, and 3 of them have been 15 darts or fewer.
Well, those 4 legs, he's only 1 dart shy of
43.
exactly 100 average. Very, very useful stuff. He's put Ian White under a lot of pressure. There's a lot of quality in those numbers.
140.
And Ian White will just not know what has hit him in the last few legs.
A match of 2 halves. I mean, the first half totally belonged to Ian White. After 3 successive holes of throw early on,
100.
White kicked on with the break. Norris looked to be a little bit shell-shocked, but he has responded. And then some. Throwing
45.
first in this 10th leg as well. There we see the averages just above the 90 mark for Alan Norris, but he won't care about that. Won't care about the 88 yesterday either. It's all about getting through to tonight's
140.
quarterfinals.
It's been a while since Ian White really went deep in a European Tour event, isn't it? I mean, I remember in Risor he got Horvatted by the big German that we knew nothing about, but he took out most players that weekend.
Yeah, well, prior to this weekend, he'd won only 2 matches in his 3 most recent European Tour events.
134.
And as we said yesterday, he was gifted one of them, that second round win over Devon Peterson in Mulheim when Peterson miscalculated. Made the semis in Gibraltar earlier this year. That's as good as it got for Ian White, or that's as good as it has got for Ian White so far.
Alan, you require 84.
This is
But
for
then
the match.
he was battered by Nigel Hayden in the last 16 in Austria, 6-0, and this is for the match. Alan Norris, double 11
Shot
once
of the
again.
match, Alan Norris.
For the second successive leg, he's reeled off 5 on the spin, and Chuck is through.